One of the most frequently asked questions in regards to the airport process is on the topic of airport security. Most of you are aware that there are strict regulations about the amount of toothpaste, bottled water, and other liquid and gel items that travelers are permitted in carry-on luggage. But what exactly are the rules? Just how much are you allowed to bring? Are the rules different if you're flying overseas? And what about food, makeup, and medications? Well, you're in luck, because whether you're new to flying or just need a refresher, in today's video, I'm going to be answering your most frequently asked questions about airport security. Let's go.
Dream vacations start here.
Question number 1. Can I bring liquids and gels in my carry-on? Yes, but in limited quantities. The rule you need to know is the 3-1-1 rule. And you'll see signs for this rule at the airport as well. But the rule is any liquid, gel, cream, paste, or aerosol that you want to bring in your carry-on needs to be in 3.4 ounce or 100 milliliter containers like this that I have. And then these all have to fit in one clear quart size bag, as you can see here. So as many liquids and gels that you can fit in one bag. And you're only allowed one bag per passenger. So to recap, any liquid, gel, aerosol, paste, or cream that you wish to pack in your carry-on have to be in 3.4 ounce containers or less in one clear quart size bag and only one bag per passenger. Question number 2. Can I bring liquids and gels in my checked bag? Yes. In fact, the 3-1-1 rule does not apply to checked luggage, so you can pack as many liquids and gels as you would like, including full-size bottled water, full-size shampoo and body wash containers if you like. Now, I will warn you to be careful of the weight of your checked bag, because most airlines will allow you to check a bag up to a certain weight without an additional fee. And if you go over that weight, you'll be hit with a hefty overweight fee, so be mindful of the weight limit for a checked bag for the airline you'll be flying with. Question number 3. May I pour shampoo and other liquids or gels into unmarked travel size containers? Yes, refillable containers like this one that I have are perfectly acceptable. They don't even need to be labeled. You just have to make sure that the size of the container holds 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters of liquid or less. Question number 4. What about prescription medications, baby formula, or milk? Okay, so there are exceptions to the 3-1-1 rule, and prescription medications, baby formula, and breast milk are exempt from the liquids and gel rule. This would also include baby food and puree pouches if you're traveling with a baby up to toddler age. These are considered medically necessary liquids, and you can carry more than the 3.4 ounces allowed, and they don't even need to be in your quart-size bag along with your other liquids. If you're going to be traveling with baby formula or breast milk, you can even carry cooling accessories with them, such as ice packs, freezer packs, and gel packs, and your child does not even need to be present or traveling with you to be able to carry these items. You will, however, at the beginning of the screening process, need to remove any liquid prescription medications, baby formula, baby food, breast milk, puree pouches out of your bag, and let the TSA officers know that you have them, as they will need to be screened separately from your other belongings. It also helps to put any of these items in clear containers so that the TSA can easily identify what is in each container. Question number 5. Do solid vitamins and medications need to be packed in their original containers? No, they do not. You can transfer them in smaller containers like a daily pill reminder, but keeping them in their original labeled containers can help expedite the screening process. And I should also add, if you're carrying solid vitamins or pills, you do not need to take them out of your bag when going through the security process. These can stay in your bag. Question number 6. When going through security, does each of my items need to be in separate bins? No, not necessarily. As long as you're not stacking items on top of each other, you can combine items in the same bin. So usually your shoes, maybe your jacket, and a belt can go in one bin, and then your bag of liquids and devices larger than your cell phone can go in another bin. And if you're bringing a laptop, that might need its own bin depending on the size. So 2 to 3 bins is typically what you can expect to use. Question number 7. Can I bring powders on the plane? Yes, but with a caveat. If you want to bring ground coffee, spices, or even baby powder, you can carry up to 12 ounces. Anything over that will be subject to additional screening, and if the TSA can't identify what it is you're bringing, they will confiscate it, so don't try to bring some obscure spice or powder that might look like something else. Question number 8. Can I take makeup on the plane? So makeup is subject to the same liquid and gel rule as everything else. So if you're bringing liquid mascara, lip gels, or other liquid or gel-like items, they will need to be placed in your quart-size bag in 3.4 ounce or smaller containers. Lipstick, solid lip balms like chapstick are okay to take without having to put them in your bag of liquids. The same goes for any powders. As long as they're not more than 12 ounces, they can be carried in your hand luggage without any issue. Question number 9. What are the TSA rules for deodorant? Solid stick deodorant is perfectly fine to bring on the plane in either your checked or carry-on bag. Gel or spray deodorant, however, would be subject to the liquids and gel rule if you want to pack it in your carry-on bag. You can buy travel-sized deodorants and other toiletries at your local grocery store or pharmacy that would meet the TSA rules for liquids and gels that you can just pick up and stick in your quart-sized bag of liquids. Question 10. Can I bring food on a plane? Yes, but there are some things you need to be aware of. First, the TSA's liquid and gel rule apply to food as well, so you want to be careful about what foods you are bringing. Soups, gravy, puddings, dips, sauces, things like that are not going to be allowed unless you put them in 3.4-ounce containers and store them in your bag of liquids. Another thing to avoid is peanut butter. Peanut butter is considered a liquid according to the TSA. On the other hand, foods that are allowed are pies, cakes, and other bakery products, although just know that they will be subject to additional screening. But solid snack foods like pretzels, potato chips, carrot sticks, solid candy, sandwiches, except for peanut butter and jelly, of course, are good to take through security. I know people have taken Subway sandwiches through security, so you could take something like that. As far as condiments go, you can take single serving packages of condiments as long as they fit in your bag of liquids and gels. Also, any food that you bring will need to be securely wrapped or put in a spill-proof container. And if you need to keep your food cold, you can use freezer packs, but they do need to be completely frozen when going through security. Otherwise, if they're partially defrosted, the TSA may confiscate them. Question 11. If I purchase food or beverages beyond the security checkpoint at the airport, can I bring them on the plane? Yes, absolutely. Once you're through security, you can purchase any food or beverages in any size and bring it on the plane with you. I would just be mindful of any smelly foods because that smell can easily travel throughout the entire plane. The one thing you want to be careful of is if you're going to be traveling internationally. You're fine to bring any food on the plane with you, but once you arrive at another country, the food you're carrying may or may not be allowed to enter the country, so you want to check the outside food restrictions for the country you are visiting. Question number 12. What type of shoes should I wear through security? Slip-on shoes are going to be the best option for shoes. You're going to have to take off your shoes and place them in a security bin for screening, so you want shoes that are going to be easy to take on and off. If you're messing with shoelaces, buckles, boots, you're just going to be holding up the security line. I will also say if you're going to be wearing flip-flops or you're going to be barefoot when you take off your shoes, I would suggest you bring a pair of socks because the airport floor can be pretty dirty, not to mention the risk of getting athlete's foot. Question 13. How does the TSA handle screening for children? If you're traveling with children aged 12 or under, they do not need to remove their shoes, jackets, or headwear before going through security. If your child should set off the metal detector, the security officer will most likely make sure there is nothing in their pockets and then let them go through the metal detector again. If the metal detector goes off again, then the officer will swab your child's hands for explosives in lieu of a pat-down. Children 13 years of age and up, however, are subject to the same screening process as adults. Question 14. Are there any special TSA rules for seniors? Yes. Seniors aged 75 and older can leave their shoes on and any light jackets that you may be wearing during the screening process. However, if an alarm goes off while going through the screening process, then you will be asked to remove those items. Question 15. Can I bring tweezers, razors, or scissors on the plane? Tweezers, electric razors, disposable razors, and their cartridges are allowed to be carried on the plane. Straight razors are only permitted in your carry-on as long as the blades are packed in your checked luggage. For scissors, they are allowed on the plane as long as the blades of the scissors do not exceed 4 inches from the pivot point. Otherwise, they should be packed in your checked luggage. Question 16. Can I bring needlepoint or knitting needles on the plane? Yes. However, if you're carrying circular thread cutters or other needlepoint tools with blades, those would have to be packed in your checked luggage. Question 17. What are the TSA rules for batteries? So dry batteries, those would be AA, AAA, C, and D batteries, can be carried in either checked or carry-on luggage. The same goes for laptops, tablets, and phones. The ones that have a restriction are loose lithium batteries. So if you're planning to bring any power banks or cell phone battery chargers, those have to be packed in your carry-on only. Packing them in a check bag is prohibited because those items can overheat and potentially cause a fire. If you want more information about bringing batteries, I just did a full video about carrying batteries on a plane, so check out the link for that video in the description. Question 18. Can I bring e-cigarettes and vaping devices on the plane? What about cigarette lighters? E-cigarettes and vaping devices are only permitted in carry-on luggage. You just have to make sure that you're taking active measures to prevent the heating element of the device from accidentally activating. Common lighters without the fuel inside them are okay to carry in your carry-on or checked bag. Question 19. Can I bring CBD oil or marijuana on the plane? This really depends. If you're traveling within the US, it is legal to travel with products that contain no more than 0.3% TCH. If you're traveling to another country, you will have to follow the laws that have been established for that country for these types of products. Just know that the TSA does not specifically screen for illegal drugs, but they will report them to law enforcement if they are found. Question number 20. Are the security rules different for international travel? The European Union, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Singapore, Norway, and many other countries have adopted very similar security restrictions to those here in the US. So you won't see a whole lot of differences other than the fact that most other countries use the metric system. So instead of 3.4 ounces of liquids and gels that are allowed, it would be 100 milliliters. Question 21. Can I bring duty-free liquids in my carry-on? Yes, duty-free liquids such as perfume and alcohol are allowed more than the 3.4 ounces as long as they were purchased at a duty-free shop and placed in a special tamper-evident bag, which is usually provided by the duty-free shop. If they are not in these bags, then they have to be stored in your checked bag. Just be sure that you keep the receipt for them, as you'll have to prove that you purchased these items within the last 48 hours. Question 22. Can I bring dry ice on the airplane? Yes, you will need airline approval first, but generally you can bring up to 5.5 pounds of dry ice in either your carry-on or checked bag as long as it's stored in a package that allows the venting of carbon dioxide gas. If you're looking to pack regular ice packs, they do need to be in a solid state when going through security. Also, my recommendation is that you avoid packing dry ice in your carry-on because there are TSA agents who have never seen dry ice before, and when they see it, they have no idea what it is and will lean towards confiscating it, which I have seen happen. So fair warning to you if you plan to take dry ice in your carry-on. Question 23. I have a hearing aid, wheelchair, CPAP machine, pacemaker, or another medical device. How will this be handled during my security screening? If you're wearing any kind of medical device, you should disclose this as soon as you approach the security officers. Now for hearing aids, you're not going to have a problem wearing those through security. They won't set off any alarms. For everything else, however, you'll want to disclose those to the security officers. CPAP machines, if you're packing one of those in your carry-on, you're supposed to remove them from the carry-in case for x-ray screening, but they're so common now that most of the time when a security officer sees them, they'll just tell you to leave it in the case. If you are asked to remove the CPAP from the case, you can put it in a clear plastic bag to keep it from getting dirty. However, the face mask and tubing can stay in the case. Question 24. How early should I arrive at the airport for screening? If you're brand new to flying, I would suggest you arrive 2 hours for a domestic flight and 3 hours for an international flight. The wait times for airport security can vary from airport to airport and for the time of year, especially if you're traveling from a vacation hotspot. Orlando Airport, for example, is crazy during the summer months because of Disney World, so I would actually recommend getting to the airport earlier than the 2 hours before departure. A good resource to use is to download the My TSA app. Here you can find the current wait times for the airport you're traveling out of and also historical data that will give you typical wait times for a specific time of day, which is very useful. Question 25. What should I expect at the airport security checkpoint? When going through airport security, it's going to be helpful to be prepared. You're going to have to remove items of clothing and items out of your bag for screening. For clothing, this would be shoes, belts, jackets, and anything out of your pockets like keys, cell phones, and wallets. These will have to be placed in security bins for x-ray screening, or what I like to do for all these items, except for the shoes and jacket, is to place them in my carry-on bag or backpack. That way I'm not worried about someone grabbing any of my important items. So having all these items in your bag before going through security is going to make things so much smoother for you. Then I would also wear slip-on and off shoes so you don't have to mess with shoelaces. The things that you'll need to remove out of your bag will be any electronic device larger than your cell phone, so laptops, tablets, e-readers, things like that, and then also your quart-sized bag of liquids. All of these items will also need to be placed in the security bins. Once you've accomplished that, then it'll be time to go through either a metal detector or a full-body scanner. You can opt out of getting a full body scan, but just know that you will be subject to a full body pat down, including groin, buttocks, and breasts by a security officer of the same gender. Question 26. If I go through the full body scanner once and it brings up an alert, can I request to go through it again before receiving a pat down? You can request to go through the body scanner again, but it will be up to the TSA agent to decide whether or not to grant your request. Question 27. I'm bringing birthday or holiday gifts. What is the best way to pack them? Gift bags are probably the best way to go. That way, if a security officer needs to inspect them, they can easily see what's in the bag. I would not wrap any gifts for the same reason that if a security officer needs to inspect the gift, they will need to unwrap that gift. So either wait and wrap the gift when you get to your destination or ship them ahead of time. Question 28. Can I bring electronic items on the plane or in my checked luggage? If so, how should I pack them? Laptops, cameras, tablets, video game consoles, e-readers, and most other standard electronic devices are allowed in both checked and carry-on luggage, although it's probably best to keep them in your carry-on to prevent damage or theft. And if you pack them in your carry-on, make sure they are packed in an easy-to-get-to place because you will have to remove them and place them in security bins for x-ray screening. The only electronic devices that can't be packed in your checked bag would be portable chargers or power banks. Question number 29. Can I lock my suitcase? Yes, but you will need to use TSA-approved locks. All TSA-approved locks will have this symbol on them to help you identify which types of locks you can use. Most newer luggage pieces have installed in them TSA-approved locks for your convenience, but if you end up using a non-TSA-approved lock, the TSA officers will simply cut off your lock if they need to get into your bag. And question number 30. Is there a faster and easier way to get through security? Yes, there is. The TSA offers a program that you can enroll into called TSA PreCheck. This is essentially a fast pass through airport security with the average wait time to get through security less than 10 minutes. At the airport, you will generally see two separate screening lines, one for general screening and the other for those enrolled in TSA PreCheck, which are much shorter than the general screening lines. Not only will you have a shorter wait time, but you also will not need to remove your shoes, jackets, your bag of liquids, laptops. All of those items can just stay in your bag. And you won't need to go through a body scanner, but just a simple metal detector, which is why it makes the line much shorter and quicker to get through. There is an in-person interview that you'll need to do, but once you get approved, your TSA PreCheck privileges will be good for 5 years. I'll have the TSA PreCheck enrollment link in the video description, as well as many more resources in regards to all the information I just covered in this video. So make sure you check out those resources and other videos from me that may be helpful to you as well. Thank you so much for watching and hope to catch you again in a future video.